All right, let's just jump right in. Welcome to this explainer. Today we are unpacking a song that, well, it's honestly so much more than just a catchy tune. We're looking at Paper Crane Weather by robintheboywonderhayes and mallusahaysic, and it is this profoundly beautiful exploration of how we interact with the world around us. Think about it for a second. Have you ever noticed how the tiniest, most insignificant thing can completely change the trajectory of your entire day? That is exactly the phenomenon these two incredible artists have captured. Through two distinctly different narratives, Robin and Mallusa are going to take us on a total journey of mindfulness, discovery, and ultimately the bittersweet reality of letting things go. Paper Crane Weather, hold me together. Oh, I feel lighter now. This uplifting chorus is our emotional anchor for today. I want you to think about what it actually means to be held together by something as incredibly fragile as folded paper. It's this recurring mantra throughout the track that bridges the gap between two very different experiences. They don't just use this as a musical hook, it's more like a deep sigh of relief. It's a recognition that sometimes leaning into the strange, delicate moments of life is exactly what we need to feel truly grounded. So what does it mean to find serendipity in the absolute smallest of things? We usually think of serendipity as like finding a $20 bill on the sidewalk or randomly bumping into an old best friend. But what if serendipity is really just an attitude? What if it's simply the willingness to let a tiny, seemingly random object guide your next move? As we dive into these lyrics, we're going to see exactly how both Robin and Mallusa answer that question and how their distinct journeys intertwined. All right, moving into part one, a small, strange discovery. You know that exact feeling, right? You put on a winter coat for the first time in months, you casually reach into the pocket, and boom, you find something you totally forgot was in there. That universal, relatable experience is the literal jumping-off point for both of these artists. Robin's experience kicks off by finding a paper crane in his coat pocket, right alongside Mallusa discovering another crane in her other pocket. It's such a brilliant literal device. It connects the two performers instantly. They're basically two sides of the exact same coin, experiencing the same magical weather system, but from completely different vantage points. Which brings us to section 2, Robin's shift in perspective. Robin's verse is, honestly, an absolute masterclass in sensory storytelling. He isn't getting swept away to some magical fantasy land. Instead, the magic brings his actual, physical, everyday world into much sharper focus. He takes us on this totally linear journey of action. First, there's the blue ink on the wing, described as a note he never wrote. It just gives him one simple command, go out now. And he doesn't overthink it, he just listens. And what happens? He buys a peach and the juice immediately hits his tie. It's messy, it's real, and it just perfectly captures the essence of being present. He isn't annoyed by the stain on his tie at all. He's completely awakened by it. And this leads us to the core thesis of Robin's experience. A small, strange thing can change my mind. He sings that the day went soft like a shirt on the line. Man, I love that imagery so much. It totally implies that before he found that crane, his day was rigid, stiff, maybe a bit stressful. But this small, strange thing, it acted like fabric softener for his soul. Because he allowed his mindset to shift, just look at the list of things he suddenly appreciates. We're talking mud on his shoes from the edge of the park, a kid laughing in the dark, the harsh hiss of a city bus with a cut-up seat. These definitely aren't traditionally beautiful things, But in this specific state of mind, in this paper crane weather, even the grit of the city feels profoundly poetic. It all culminates in him catching his own grin in a shop window. The sky leans low like it knows his name, and he realizes he is literally no longer the same person who put that coat on earlier in the day. Okay, let's shift gears to section 3, Mallusa's Moonlight Conversation. So halfway through the track, the entire narrative just abruptly shifts. While Robin explored the busy, tactile world of the daytime city, Mallusa pulls us right into the quiet, introspective magic of the night. The bass guitar enters, the tempo feels completely different, and we are suddenly immersed in this dreamlike state. Mallusa's paper crane introduces this wove of magical realism. It literally starts singing a note she doesn't know. Unlike Robin's crane, which just had words written in ink, Mallusa's crane feels like a daydream coming alive in her mind. They head to the park together, hanging out under the pale moonlight. It's deeply intimate and shows how this paper crane phenomenon can manifest as an internal, deeply personal companion exactly when we need it most. Just take a look at the vivid juxtaposition between Robin's daylight reality and Mallusa's surreal, moonlit escape. Look at the contrast in the sensory details here. Robin's world is super tactile, sticky peach juice, wet mud, the loud hiss of a bus. But Mallusa's world, it's completely ethereal. We've got pale moonlight, an unfamiliar musical note, the encroaching cold. Robin interacts by observing the gritty world around him, while Mallusa interacts by literally conversing with a manifestation of her own imagination. They are two perfectly balanced halves of the human experience, packed into one single song. And that tension leads us right into section 4, holding on versus letting go. As Mallusa and her crane talk under the moonlight, this incredibly poignant dilemma pops up. The song transitions from a simple celebration of mindfulness into something way more emotionally complex. It asks a really tough question. Do you keep the magic or let it go? The crane actually gives Mallusa a choice to leave it there or take it home, presenting this deeply relatable struggle about attachment. The lyrics literally say, "Now you must choose to leave me here or take me home. I'm gonna leave it up to you, you just gotta let me know." Wow. I mean, how often do we experience something wonderful, like a perfect evening or a sudden burst of inspiration, and our immediate instinct is to try and possess it? So we see this beautiful, heartbreaking tension between wanting to protect something fragile and recognizing the absolute inevitability of parting ways. The crane flat out acknowledges its vulnerability. It admits it can't survive the cold, but Mallusa is clearly attached to the comfort and the magic it brought her, and she wishes she didn't have to leave it. She actually pleads for just one more night, just another day. It perfectly captures that specific, universal ache of knowing a beautiful moment is ending and trying desperately to hold on to it for just a fraction longer. All right, let's tie this all together in section 5, embracing paper crane weather. As we hit the bridge of the track, let's synthesize both of these perspectives. Both Robin and Mallusa reflect on how this whole experience has fundamentally altered their approach to life. Robin realizes he used to chase the biggest roar, the loud, massive achievements. But now he's totally fine keeping the tiny things in store. A peach-stained day is actually enough for him. Mallusa, on the other hand, realizes that true appreciation sometimes means letting go. She sings that she used to try and control things, to shape the paper's core. But now she understands that setting the magic free is literally the only way it can truly soar. This completely redefines the title of the song. Paper crane weather is definitely not a meteorological event. It's a powerful, transformative psychological state of mindfulness. It's an internal climate. It's that delicate, perfect balance between being entirely present to enjoy the little bits of good luck that come our way, while having the emotional maturity not to suffocate them. It's about feeling so much lighter, because you are no longer weighed down by the intense need to control every single outcome. It's about feeling inspired as much as you are disappointed. These lyrics act as a literal toolkit for our own lives. The absolute genius of Robin the Boy Wonderhayes and mallusahaysic is that they didn't just write a gorgeous song, they wrote a genuine guide to mindfulness. Give yourself permission today to stop chasing the biggest roar. Let things be a little messy. Notice the mud on your shoes and the strangers laughing in the dark. Find the magic in those ordinary, peach-stained moments, and most importantly, allow beautiful things the freedom to soar. So, before you head out today, I've got a question for you. What tiny things in store might be hiding in your own pockets or in your surroundings, just waiting to totally change your day? Magic isn't always giant fireworks. Sometimes it's literally just a folded piece of paper with blue ink on the wing. Pay attention to the small things, appreciate them while they last, and then gracefully let them go. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer. Until next time, keep your eyes open and embrace the weather.